Our last interview for the day, we've got Leon Guerrero, who is no stranger to the radio and very active with local politics, but
online.
But never run as a candidate. It's his first run as a candidate. He's running as a Republican. Ken, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Ken, so yeah. I tell you what.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear. So I'm going to give you the first 4 or 5 minutes and tell the listening audience about Leon Guerrero and what he's all about.
Well, the reason I'm running for office is because for the past 12 years, I've been a community advocate. I've been working in the public hearing rooms. I've been standing before 3 different administrations, 4 different legislatures, dozens of government agencies, boards, and commissions, representing the people's point of view in actions. Mm-hmm. And I've also been standing up against corruption, things like the Guam Resource Recovery Partner waste energy plant, where politically well-connected insiders were trying to get taxpayers to foot the bill for a $360 million waste energy plant that no one had the experience to build or operate. Plus, we didn't generate enough waste to make it economically feasible. Mm-hmm. I stood up against the settlement for Guam YTK. I've stood in opposition to numerous bond attempts during the Calvo Tenorio administration, tax increases. Right now, I'm in the Supreme Court of Guam. I've got a lawsuit filed against the government of Guam for the passage of Bill 30, which basically takes $30 million of taxpayers' money and guts Guam Memorial Hospital, the taxpayer-supported hospital. And so all these things I've been doing from the public hearing rooms and conference rooms at different agencies. So as you know, for the past 3 elections, I've been trying to get more people to run for office. But the big problem is the election laws are such that they favor incumbents and political party selections.
As far as I'm concerned, there are 5 reasons to support Bill 45. The first reason, eliminating the primary, throws the general election process wide open and encourages the widest possible selection of potential candidates to run for office. So the public will get to hear many different points of view about government policy, as opposed to carefully screened, carefully filtered, and carefully spoon-fed policies as dictated by the different parties.
And I was having a hard time getting people to run. So I ran, and one of my goals is to change the election laws to make it possible for more of our best and brightest to stand up and give public service. And by taking my community advocacy from the public hearing room to the floor of the legislature, I'll be able to have a more direct effect on policy representing the people.
So, what is your, I mean, I know you have a lot on your plate, but what is the first thing, if you're elected into the 36th Guam legislature, what is the first thing you see yourself introducing into the legislature?
Well, the first thing I see myself introducing into the legislature is a bill to roll the business privilege tax back from 5% to 4%, and introduce a bill to add a sales tax. Because by virtue of the fact that we don't have a sales tax, our local businesses can't compete against the internet. And even with the local sales tax, internet sales are still going to be very, very cost affordable. But the difference is we need to help our small businesses. So by changing our tax structure gradually away from a business privilege or gross receipts tax to a sales tax, it's going to take some time, but in the end, it'll be a lot better for not only the businesses, but for the residents of Guam. And we have to, in this time, we have to take steps right away in support of small businesses, because it's not going to do any good to open up the tourism industry if all the small businesses are gone, because a majority of our small businesses are in support of the tourist industry. So we have to start doing things to help keep those small businesses alive, because we're losing hundreds of businesses already. We're losing dozens of businesses every week that shut their doors forever. And when this PCOR 1 is finally ended, where are the people going to go to work if all the businesses they worked at are gone?
Right.
So that's why we have to take that two-prong approach. Roll back the business privilege tax. I would like to roll it back to 3% and put a 2% sales tax, so that we're revenue neutral, but we're shifting the burden. And gradually, as we move, get all of our bonds refinanced, because we can't go below 3%, because we've got about $1 billion worth of bonds tied to our general obligation bonds tied to our BPT. Right now, $100 million a year comes right off the top of Government of Guam revenue collection and goes to paying those bonds. So we have to restructure how we finance our government, because the path we're on right now is the same path Puerto Rico followed, right over the financial cliff into financial receivership. So unless we want the federal government telling our local elected and appointed officials how to spend our money, we have to get a handle on that.
Okay. Now, I know you've also been a proponent of a part-time legislature. Is that one of the things that you're going to pursue if elected?
Definitely. That'll be the second bills I introduce, will be a package of election reform, an election reform package. Right now, we have 15 senators. That concentrates too much power in any one person. And not only that, by having that small number of senators, it makes it possible for a small group of senators to push through pork barrel legislation like we see happening right now in the 35th. The latest one is Bill 368, which is going to take $3 to $5 million of taxpayers' revenue and give it to a politically well-connected insider company to collect taxes for Government of Guam. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So, but we have two Democrats, Tina Muñoz-Barnes and Pito Terlahi, riding hard on the pork barrel express, trying to get this bill through before the end of the year, so that before the new legislature comes in, they'll be able to give this contract to some politically well-connected insider company. That's $5 million a year right off the top. That's $5 million a year that won't be going to repair the critical infrastructure at GMH. It's $5 million a year that won't be going to making our schools better. It's $5 million a year that won't be going to public safety. It'll just be going from tax collections into private hands. We can't afford that.
Okay. Ken, I've got a caller. Would you like to take a call?
Sure.
Okay, we've got Paps on line 2. Paps, you're on there with Tony Lamer and Ken. You have a question?
Hello, Senator. Hello, Ken. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You know, you favor a part-time legislature. It was even in the paper today, and you've been preaching about it.
I've done more than preaching about it. I've been trying
to reduce the salary of senators. I have one question, and I have a follow-up because it relates to the question. What salary do you think senators should be making in a part-time legislature? Please answer the question. Don't be a politician and run away from it.
When have I ever run away from a question, Paps?
What salary do you think senators should make in a part-time legislature?
I think that when we go to a part-time legislature, senators should be making about $30,000 a year, which is $25,000 less than they're making right now.
All right, the follow-up, would you be willing, even if they don't change the law like Chris Duenas is willing, to take that salary, even if the law is changed, to set an example? Answer yes or no.
You want to repeat the question again? I didn't quite hear it.
Like Chris Duenas is willing to do, would you be willing to accept it, to only receive a salary of $30,000, even if the legislature does not change the law and keeps it at $55,000? Would you only accept a salary of $30,000 as an example would you do that? Yes or no?
No,
No.
no.
Why not?
Because if the salary is 55,000, then I'm going to take the 55,000 salary until we change the law so that everybody's getting the same.
Okay. Thanks for the answer.
All right, Paps. All right. So,
But to my defense, I have been trying to change the law for 6 years, and I think you've seen my efforts over the years. In 2016, I tried to have a voter initiative to change the salaries and reduce them. In 2018, I was doing another voter initiative to reform the legislature, going to part-time, going to 21 part-time senators and eliminating the primary election, which is still my platform and still what I will be working on in the legislature in the area of election reform. Because right now, when we have a senator that's chairman of 4 or 5 committees, that's ridiculous. Having 21 senators, we can spread the workload around.
So why don't we go in detail in regards to your political or your election reform?
Okay. The first thing is to eliminate the primary election, because the primary election is a significant barrier to new candidates. So by eliminating the primary election, then we make it easier for first-time candidates and new candidates to get into the legislature.
Now, are you suggesting that there'll be just no primary, or are you now saying that the respective parties would conduct their own primaries?
There will be no government-paid primary election. Now, if the political parties want to hold their own primary and put forth a slate into the general that has the exclusive right to claim Republican leader support or Democrat support, then the parties are willing to do that. But if Ken Leon Guerrero wants to run as an independent, guess what? He can run as an independent. And in the conversations I've had with a lot of the candidates, if they had a choice, the majority of candidates would have preferred to run as an independent instead of having to pick a party. But the way the law is written, we have to pick a party.
Okay.
So we eliminate the primary. We eliminate the need to sign in blood on one team or the other.
Okay, Ken, I've got several callers that want to ask you some questions. We're going to go to Carl on line 4. Carl, you're on there with Tony Lamarin and Ken Leon Guerrero.
Hi, Tony.
Go ahead. You have a question for Ken? Go ahead.
Anyway, before I ask question, is there any way I could ask the gentleman for his phone number? I could talk to him personally.
727-3506
I'm sorry,
is my
try it again.
campaign. 727-3506.
Okay.
3506.
That's my campaign cell phone. Leave a message there and leave your number, and I will call you back.
Okay. Anyway, you have a good plan on everything, but why is it that every candidate that's running, they want to try and fix come in to fix other plan for the good of the people of Guam? But nobody ever come out and say, let's check different department, like Department of Agriculture. It's been in operation for so many years, and when you go up there to look for whatever plan you want to plant up, like tomatoes, eggplant, and everything, they don't even have that at all, like long time ago.
Well, I am a big fan of agriculture. I've been trying to be a farmer
thing,
myself.
Like public works, do they have a safety highway officer?
I don't know.
Because
I know that at one time, Public Works had about 1,500 employees back in the 70s. I think now they're down to like 230 employees.
I'm just so concerned of the highway safety department, because right now, if you're going down on the highway, especially on a dark night and raining so hard, you can't even see the island curve.
The stripes. You can't see the road markings. There's no reflectors.
Plow the whole island. down the highway
part of the problem-
without any fatalities or anything. But maybe they could do something and clean it up and paint the whole island curb red or yellow, so that a big
So
warning
you can
for all
see
the
'em.
motorists.
Yeah. Well, part of the problem we have with Public Works is a lot of the funds that were meant to go to road maintenance have been hijacked. I mean, for years now, $500,000 a
hijacked is
year
pretty bad.
right off the top goes to University of Guam to pay for the business and professional administration building. Why is the
I'll
highway
cut it
fund?
here, but I'll give you a call on your phone.
Okay, leave your number and I will call you back.
Okay. We're going to get one more question before we take a break. We're going to go to line one. We've got Frank. Frank, you're on the air with Tony Lamarin and Ken Leon Guerrero. You have a question for Ken?
Yeah, I got a question for Ken. Ken,
Yeah, go ahead.
what are we going to do about accountability in this government? Because there's no accountability. Are we going to make laws with some teeth? Are we going to hold people accountable to the law? Are we going to put people in jail that break the law instead of just pat on the back and slap on the hand?
Oh, I love that question. One of my legislation pieces I'm working on is called the Corrupt Practices Act. And with the Corrupt Practices Act, it will allow citizens to sue government and executives or officials or employees who violate law or procedure in such a way that it causes harm to taxpayers and to residents. You see, right now, we can't sue the government unless the Attorney General does it. But the Attorney General won't sue the government. I've taken numerous complaints to the Attorney General on violations of law, but the Attorney General refuses to act because he represents the government. You know, I thought we elected him.
Ken,
So that's why I'm going to change that.
I want you to put some teeth in some legislation and force the hands of these directors when we have misconduct and crimes going on. I want accountability. I want deterrence. I want people to go to jail and know that if they break the law or they do something wrong when they're in office or when they're a public official or a government worker, that they're going to go to jail. Same thing we do with drug dealers. Same thing we do with people that rob. Same thing with people that break the crime. We have to have deterrence. We can't just have them suing people. They have to go to jail. We have to put a statement out there that it's going to be not tolerated anymore. We want zero tolerance.
I agree with
this
you.
Kind of stuff going on.
I agree with you, Carl. I agree with you. That's why I'm running. I mean, Frank, pardon me. That's why I'm running.
You got my vote. Joanne Brown got my vote. I want to see something done about this. That's a very important issue. And we need a legislature that's going to sit at the table in this corona crisis, because this legislature, they got some senators that want to sit at the table and help, but the majority of them, that they're not interested in helping what's going on, you know?
Well, you may have noticed that I have put out a list of candidates that I support. The reason I support them, those candidates and I see eye to eye on so many issues, and government corruption is one of the ones that the 15 people in my heroes list that's in today's paper, as a matter of fact. So if you go to the Post and you look at page 9, I think, you'll see my recommendations. I've sat down with these people. I've talked with these people. And one of the things we all agree on is we need to fight government corruption. So if you haven't voted yet, vote for all 15 of those people. Okay. Spread the word, and then maybe we can finally get a handle on this corruption, because the only way we break pari politics is we get rid of the paris.
Yes. And again, you got my vote. I want accountability. I want justice.
Okay, Frank.
And I want people held accountable.
Okay, Frank. Ken, we're going to take a short break, a traffic break with Ed Suarez of the Go, and we'll be right back. Off day, it is 5:38 in the afternoon. You are listening to Tony Lamarina on Tony Talks. We're here Monday through Friday from 2 to 6 in the afternoon, and today is Thursday, the 22nd day of October, and an overcast day here on Guam. Stand up for change and vote with the pack. Go to actionpackguam.com and become a member. We've got in studio interview, we have Ken Leon Guerrero, who is running as a Republican for the 36th Guam legislature. And You know, he's obviously here. You know, Ken is no stranger to the government, but first time running for political office. Ken, I've got a couple of callers that want to ask you a question. You mind?
No, not at all.
Okay, we're going to go to George on line 2. George, you're on there with Tony Lamarina and Ken Leon Guerrero. George.
Ken, I've been following you, and you seem to be sincere, and your effort is rewarding to my heart, and I think you are sincere. I've seen in the past, I lived here for 30 years, most people make promises they don't keep, and they're self-interest. So part of my situation, I'm thinking about, we have plenty of bureaucracy here. I hope you're listening. And we got the governors overstaffed. We got all the legislators all got their mini offices. We have the mayors. We have the vice mayors. We have directors, sub-directors, everybody. And we seem not to get nothing done. So you seem to be very progressive. You have good ideas. And I want to break some of these tribes up. I call them tribes, right? Family tribes, even like with Joanne Brown. When she did well, they didn't say anything, but now that she's running for office, they find some dirt on her as an example. So I just want to share, you know, it's only a small island, and it's only 160,000. Some places they only have like city managers or something. They don't need all this bureaucracy to fight over nothing. So anyway, that's kind of my question. How do we'll never get rid of the bureaucracy, or even every couple of years we fight over the bone?
Well, we've got a unique situation here. We have a pandemic that has hammered our island, hammered our economy. We have an economy that is circling the drain right now. And the revenues that government of Guam has been collecting are going to fall off a cliff. So we're going to have to do things differently. We're going to have to smartly make reductions in our government. And but we have to do it very, very carefully, very thoughtfully, because the last thing we can afford to do is, you know, destroy what little economy we have left. Now, Guam was in a bad place before this pandemic hit. Our revenues were falling. Even though the tourist counts were up, they weren't spending as much. So as a result, the government revenues were already falling before COVID hit. That was the warning sign that we needed to change the way we do things. So it's going to take a lot of effort from a lot of smart people. But the only way any change is going to happen is if we get enough people in the legislature to support change. That's why I created that recommend list that I've been promoting in the newspapers and online, because those 15 people all see things the way I do about the need to move forward, the need to start shrinking our government, the need to start building our local economy, transferring non-critical functions from the government to private industry that can usually do them better, faster, and cheaper. These are things that are going to take an iron will politically. And the current senators and the 35th legislature don't have it. I mean, here we are, we have a pandemic, we have 35,000 people out of work, our economy is shut down, our children have lost a year of school, and what did they debate with killing paper bags? Is that really the priority of the 35th Guam legislature at a time like this? Giving out sweetheart contracts to politically well-connected insiders. You know, we need a complete change, but it starts in the legislature. It starts in the people's house, because when we change the people making the policy decisions, we will get better policy.
Okay. All right, Ken, I've got a few more callers that want to ask you a question. We're going to go to line 3. Annie, you're on there with Tony Lamarina and Ken Leon Guerrero. Annie, you have a question for Ken? Annie.
Yes. Mr. Leon Guerrero, how are you?
Yeah, I am fine.
Okay, Mr. Leon Guerrero, if you make it in, are you going to post on the part-time legislature?
I'm going to try my damnedest to get it passed.
Because I noticed it that every time they have a session, the takes 2 to 3 hours, and then they'll break until tomorrow, the next day, to continue. Is that how it's supposed to be run?
Well, and then you look at the fact
in 2 to 3 hours.
Well, you look at that and the fact that they've issued over 400 resolutions, I think, in climbing. I mean, why are we paying people to write resolutions congratulating people on their birthday, their anniversary, their retirement? That's campaigning on the taxpayer dime, you know, and that shouldn't be allowed to happen. But when you go through the resolutions, the majority of them are basically campaign plugs. And when you look at the majority of the legislation that's being introduced, a lot of it is garbage. I mean, we're over 400. I think we've got over 400 bills introduced. I think we've passed something like 90, something like that. It's a small number. I think maybe 1 in 4.
Okay.
So obviously, senators are introducing a lot of legislation to make themselves look good, but it's not for the benefit of the public.
Okay, Ken, I've got another caller, and I've got Joe on line 1. Joe, you're on there with Tony Lamarina and Ken Leon Guerrero. You have a question for Ken?
Yes.
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, Ken, my question is, you're from Santa Rita, you say. And my question here is, you know, majority of everybody that are running for senators are from the northern central area. But, you know, when they come down to the south, they say they're going to do this and do that. 99.9%, the south is the one who makes this candidate win. But if you to look at Santa Rita, you know, the dilapidated road going to, I'm sorry to say this, but Governor Calvo should have paved that road going over to Payless because it breaks my own suspension and the government don't pay me. You know that
I know.
If you win, I believe in my true heart that if you win and you dig into this, the responsibility of people's own vehicle, because they pay $1550 up to $60,000, $70,000 car, is the responsibility of government of Guam to repave those roads because they're not the one who's paying for my suspension. Those are the things that I'm looking at a senator that is going to really, I don't care if you're a Republican or you're a Democrat, but look at where the money is going to be spent and spend wisely that is going to contribute to the whole entire community. Mm-hmm. You know that the tourism-wise here in Guam, to be honest with you, the tourists don't come to Guam to look at Tumon. They're sick and tired of looking at skyscraper. The beautiful village is down in here in Inurohan, Mariso, Yumanda, and Santa Rita, Talupopo, all those. So we need to improvise these kinds of things. If the pandemic goes away and we get back to the thing, this is what you have to look at. Mm-hmm. Beautification here in the south is where the tourism wants to see. They want to see culture. They don't want to see skyscraper because they didn't come to go up to duty free and they don't come to go to the Hilton Hotel or Palace Hotel or San Castle because they got all that over there in Japan. So or even in Korea.
I agree
Taiwan.
With you.
This is where I believe if you sit down, you have to look at that kind of vision. Okay. Vision yourself. None of this thing here that if they win, okay, I'm going to give my party this thing or like that.
Okay.
It's not working that
Joe,
that's what I want.
Joe will let Ken answer your question, okay? Go ahead, Ken.
I agree with everything you say. One of the things I've been pushing the administration on is taking advantage of this time during the pandemic to beautify our island, to clean up the trash, because the one complaint we're getting from both South Koreans and Japanese is the trash. You know, so we should be taking that time and opportunity, and we need to address the trash problem for everybody. Because if we address the trash problem for everybody, then our roads will be beautiful. Our parks will be beautiful because people won't be going down to Nimitz Beach dumping their trash because they're broke and they can't afford to pay for trash and they can't afford to go to the transfer station. So they just go to Nimitz Beach and throw their trash. You know that, I know that. And addressing that problem is we have to create a better tourist experience because this pandemic has changed everything, and it's changed the way the hospitality and tourism industries are going to operate going forward. We're competing with a lot more sophisticated tourist places, but we have a unique asset that we can offer, and that is the American experience in Asia on a tropical island. We just have to clean up our tropical island and clean up our views.
Ken, Joe brought up a good point. You're in favor of election reform, part-time legislature, and
I'm also in favor of districting too.
Okay, and I was about to mention that because Joe said most of the senators elected are from the north, and so are you in favor of district voting so that there's full representation of the entire island?
Well, as part of my election reform package, I was going to create 3 districts: Northern, Central, South. Northern will have 10 senators. Central will have 6 senators, and the South will have 5 senators.
Okay,
in this vision that I have.
Right, and of course, the challenge, the reason why districting was eliminated in the first time was because of the court challenge in regards to, full representation. So, you're going to have to make the designations and so forth, and the population and so forth.
Yeah, that's easy to do. They do it all over the United States.
Sure. I mean,
they call it gerrymandering.
Yeah, and that's why the census. A lot of times the census they get that information to redivide the lines.
Well, this is something that we can work on. These are ideas, and this is why I'm in favor of getting these 15 people on the list and 10 of them are new people. Because the only way real change happens is we get new people in that don't have any baggage. Okay. So on my recommend list, there's 5 incumbents and 10 new people.
Okay,
the 5 incumbents.
Ken, I got to take a break for traffic, our last traffic report, and we'll return as soon as we get back with Ed Suarez on the go. Ken, we have Ken Leon Guerrero on in studio with us on Zoom, and he is a candidate for the Guam legislature, the 36th Guam legislature. He's running as a Republican. Ken, we've got another caller, and I want to take this caller before I close today's show. So we're going to go to George on line 2. George.
Who?
George, is that you?
Yes, this is me, Tony. You know my voice?
Yeah, go ahead, George. And Ken Leon Guerrero is on the air.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Ken, you touched up on some stuff that you brought up. It has been bothering me for quite a while. The road in Guam, when it rains, you cannot see the lines anymore. I'm over 60, and when it rains, day or night, me and my wife cannot see the lines of the road, and something needs to be done with the lines of the road. And then you talked about the tourists saying that in Guam there's a lot of trash. Remember the Parks and Rec when they were having problem cleaning the restrooms in all the parks? They contract those out. But what happened to those employees? Are they still working? Were they furloughed? Were they let go? See, that what I'm trying to say is the government of Guam, they contract, but they keep the employees on, and what are they doing besides going out cleaning? I think it's just a waste of budget if you contract a company out. So you should let go of those people that can't handle it. But I think they keep them on. Tell me, Ken, is that right?
There's a way of going about that. What we have to do is we have to do a hiring freeze on government of Guam for a while. And then what we do through natural attrition, instead of hiring new people, we start transferring the existing employees into the vacant positions. Because when we start contracting services out, the employees will have an option. They can transfer over to corrections and be trained as corrections officers, or they can transfer with the contract to the private employer. That's what happens in the federal government. When DZSP won the contract, they took over the employees from Raytheon. So, we need to look at something like that, because if we stop hiring, as we have natural attrition, people leaving government, people retiring from government, people moving to the mainland, the head count will come down. And as the head count comes down, the government gets smaller, but we don't hire more people. What we do is we start contracting services out. We have three missions of this government: public safety, public health, public education. Everything else that the government does, we have to look at the value it gives to our community, because we're not going to, I can't believe they passed a $950 million budget with the economy circling the drain.
Okay.
That just is unconscionable.
Ken, you've
But they
got
did it.
you've got 2 minutes to close. I'm gonna give you the opportunity to appeal to the voters of why they should vote for Ken Leon Guerrero to be a senator in the 36th Guam legislature.
The reason you should vote for me for the 36th Guam legislature is I have spent 12 years as a community advocate defending the people of Guam, and we need a champion on the floor of the legislature, because right now 10 of the senators on the floor of the legislature are more concerned about partisan politics than they are the people of Guam. I hope to replace one of them and bring others with me so that we can take this people's house and make it again the people's house, because right now it's not. I mean, when I heard Tina Munoz Barnes on one of the Zooms bragging about Bill 368, transferring $3 to $5 million taxpayer dollars to a private company, doing something that the government is very capable of doing. That's the kind of politicians we need to get rid of, and we need to bring in public servants. I've spent 12 years proving myself as a public servant. The people on my list all proved themselves as public servant minded before they ever ran for politics.
All right, thanks, Ken. We're out of time. I want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing to the listeners what you bring to the table for the 36th Guam legislature. I wish you much luck on November 3rd, and we'll talk to you later.